Be me. 34F, CEO and founder of Lumia Strategies. We specialize in narrative architecture. Companies pay me $25K a month to tweet about diversity and run Instagram campaigns that make them look ethically non-horrifying. Self-made millionaire, drive a red Porsche Macan Turbo, live in a brutalist chic condo in Pacific Heights. My life is a series of optimized calendar blocks, cold brew coffees, and aggressive networking. Be not me. Dan, 36M, my husband for the last 8 years. Technically, he has a degree in graphic design from some state school. Hasn't earned a taxable dollar since 2017. He is a domestic engineer. My joke, he doesn't find it funny. He stays home, manages the logistics of my life, and plays video games. He is soft, agreeable, and completely devoid of the killer instinct. Imagine a golden retriever that learned how to use a sous vide machine. He's 6 foot, decent jawline, keeps in shape, but has the ambition of a sloth on melatonin. I used to find his zenned out vibe grounding. Now I just find it indicative of a lack of T levels. Tuesday, 7:45 p.m. Walking out of the Salesforce tower after a marathon meeting with a fintech client. Client is a 24-year-old VC prodigy who kept checking his watch. I had to use every ounce of my charisma to justify why our retainer just went up 15%. Exhausted physically and existentially. Check my phone. Text from Dan. Dinner is resting. Swordfish and roasted broccolini. Do you want the 2018 Pinot or a cocktail? Stare at the screen. Most women would die for this. I feel a surge of irritation. Why is his life so small? Why is his biggest concern the temperature of a fish? Meanwhile, I'm out here fighting inside the Colosseum of capitalism. Reply. 1. Be home in 20. Drive home listening to a podcast about radical independence. Host is talking about how modern women are shackled by the emotional labor of managing men, nodding along aggressively while merging onto Van Ness. Even though Dan does 100% of the housework, I still feel spiritually drained by his presence. It's the energy vampirism. I have to be the sun in his solar system. I have to be the interesting one. I have to bring home the stories, the money, the status. He just exists to consume my runoff glory. Walk into the apartment. It's aggressively clean. Smells like Santal and fresh linen. Dan is in the kitchen, wearing a ridiculous noise-cancelling headphones and an apron that says Grill Sergeant. He's dancing slightly while slicing lemon wedges. The ick hits me so hard I almost dry heave. He sees me, pulls off the headphones. Big stupid smile. Hey, welcome to the Thunderdome. How was the meeting? I drop my $4,000 bag on the pristine quartz counter. Fine. They're pivoting to AI-driven customer service. I have to rewrite the entire Q3 roadmap. Sounds intense, he says, pouring the wine. Exact unhappy wife pour level, generous. Well, sit down. Food is ready. I sit. Look at him plating the food with tweezers. Tweezers, he thinks he's in the bear. Dan, I say, taking a massive gulp of wine. Do you ever think about going back to work? He pauses. We talked about this, babe. You said my freelance stress was throwing off your chakras. We agreed I'd run the ship so you could be the captain. I know what I said, I snap. But don't you get bored? Don't you want to build something? He shrugs, putting the plate in front of me. I built this dinner. I built that bookshelf in the hallway last week. I'm happy, Laura. Aren't you happy? I look at the perfect swordfish. I look at his content face. I am absolutely miserable not because of what I lack, but because of what I'm tethered to. I am a shark swimming with a manatee. Wednesday, 10 a.m. at the office. Slack notification from my VP of Operations, Jessica. Emergency strategy session. Blue bottle. Now. Jessica is my work wife. Divorced 3 times. Bitter. Drives a G-Wagon. Calls herself a spiritual warrior. We meet for coffee. Jessica looks at me over her oat milk latte. You look heavy, she says. Not fat. Spiritually heavy. It's him, isn't it? I sigh, staring out the window at the tent city down the block. I just feel like I've outgrown the container of our marriage, Jess. He's fine. He's nice, but he's not scaling with me. You are a high-growth asset, Jessica says, tapping her nails on the table. He is a legacy system. You can't run a 2026 operating system on 2015 hardware. This resonates. Corporate metaphors are the only way I can process emotions. But the logistics, I whine. He does everything. Taking out the trash, the laundry, the cooking, the dog. Outsource it. Jessica waves a hand dismissively. You make, what, $650K a year? Hire a housekeeper. Hire a chef. TaskRabbit the rest. You are a CEO. Stop keeping an employee on payroll just because you feel bad firing him. Employee, I whisper. That's it. Marriage is just an employment contract, and Dan is underperforming in the KPI of making me feel like a power couple. Spend the rest of the week auditing my life. I create a spreadsheet. Columns. Value adverse cost of goods sold. Dan's value. Domestic tasks. Replaceable approx $4K per month. Emotional support. Minimal, mostly annoying. Intimacy. Bi-monthly. Average. Dan's cost. Food, clothing, tech gadgets, travel expenses. 50% of my mental capacity. The opportunity cost of not dating a billionaire. The math is undeniable. The ROI on this marriage is negative. I need to restructure. Friday night, the termination event. I decide to do it professionally. No screaming, no drama. Booked a table at a quiet, neutral bistro in Noe Valley. I tell Dan it's a State of the Union date. He wears a blazer I bought him 3 years ago. He looks hopeful. Probably thinks I'm going to suggest a vacation to Tulum. We sit down. I order a bottle of Sancerre immediately. Wait for the appetizers before pivoting to the agenda. Dan, I want to talk about our trajectory. He stops buttering bread. Okay, you have that face you make when a client doesn't like the font. This is harder than a font, I say, clasping my hands. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, and I realize that we are operating on different frequencies. Frequencies, he repeats. Yes. I am in a hyper-growth phase. I need a partner who challenges me, who brings external capital, social and financial, to the table. You are static, he blinks, slowly. Are you saying I'm boring? I'm saying you are comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of progress. I think we need to dissolve the partnership. Silence. Restaurant noise fades out. He looks at me, really looks at me. You want a divorce? I want a dissolution, I correct him. Divorce sounds so ugly. I want us to consciously uncouple. I've already drafted some preliminary terms. I slide a manila envelope across the table. I felt like Logan Roy doing this. Power move. What is this? He asks, not touching it. It's a transition package. I'm offering to pay for a rental apartment for 6 months. I'll give you a stipend of $5,000 to help you refresh your portfolio and get a job. Keep the car. It's a 2019 Honda. I don't care. We split the bank accounts as of today. He laughs, a dry, humorless sound. A transition package. Like I'm a junior copywriter you're letting go. It's generous, Dan. Most people just kick their exes out. I'm giving you a runway. He stares at the envelope. Then he picks it up. You really think money puts a bow on everything, don't you? Money is the language of seriousness, Dan. He stands up. Didn't even touch his burrata. Okay, if you want me gone, I'm gone. I won't stay where I'm treated like a line item. Good, I say, relieved. I knew you'd be rational. I'll be out by Sunday. He walks out. I sit there and finish the burrata alone. Check my heart rate on my Apple Watch. 72 BPM, steady. Ice in my veins. I am free. The high. Dan moves out Sunday morning. He takes his clothes, his PC setup, his kitchen knives, and his PS5. Leaves the furniture, the art, the decor. Leaves the apartment looking like a magazine spread. I stand in the center of the living room. Silence. Glorious, expensive silence. I order Thai food and eat it straight from the carton watching reality TV, without anyone asking if I want to go for a walk. This is the life. Text Jessica. The asset has been liquidated. I'm single. Jessica sends a gif of Beyoncé walking away from an explosion. I feel unstoppable. Week 3, the entropy sets in slowly. I hired a cleaning service. They come on Tuesdays. By Thursday, the place is a disaster zone. I didn't realize how much micro-cleaning Dan did. Wiping counters after every use, picking up lint, fluffing pillows. Now there are coffee rings everywhere. The sink is full of dishes that are starting to smell yeasty. I run out of clean underwear, go to the laundry room, stare at the Miele washer Dan insisted on buying. It has a digital touchscreen with options like synthetics, delicates, proofing. The heck is proofing? I just shove everything in and hit start. Come back 2 hours later, machine is beeping angrily. Error code F22. My silk blouses are shrunk to doll size. My favorite cashmere sweater is now felt. Scream, stupid machine, and kick it. Hurt my toe? Order $300 worth of new basics on Amazon Prime? Problem solved. Expensive, but solved. The diet? Without Dan's sous vide / grilled / roasted balanced meals, I am surviving on DoorDash and Sweetgreen. But Sweetgreen closes at 9 and I work until 10. So it's actually Domino's and leftover Thai. I feel bloated. My skin is breaking out. I look in the mirror and see grey circles under my eyes. Makeup isn't sitting right. Dan used to make me a collagen smoothie every morning. Now I drink black coffee that tastes burnt because I don't know how to descale the espresso machine. The low battery light on the Nespresso has been blinking for 9 days. I hate it. I just buy Starbucks. Trash piles up near the door because I keep forgetting which day is trash day. The date. Decide to get back out there. Download Raya. Match with Julian, 38, founder of an AI startup. Profile says biohacker, stoic, scaling the future. Perfect. Meet him at a speakeasy in the Mission. He's wearing a t-shirt that costs $400 and looks like a rag. Spend 45 minutes listening to him talk about his cold plunge routine. Yeah, I wake up at 4 a.m., meditate for 20, plunge for 10, then optimize my nutrient intake. I try to interject about my agency, he interrupts. Marketing is cool, but have you thought about how LLMs will render brand narrative obsolete in 6 months? He basically tells me my career is dead. He checks his phone 3 times. Sorry, my team in Bangalore is pinging me. Bill comes. He stares at it. Split? I make $650K a year. I don't care, but it's the principle. Dan always paid. Even when he used my money, he physically pulled out the card and handled the transaction like a gentleman. Julian Venmo requests me for his half of the Uber we shared for 4 blocks. Go home and cry into a pile of unwashed sheets. Week 6 post-breakup. I haven't heard from Dan. Figured he took the money and went to live in his mum's basement. Courier arrives at my office. Personal and confidential. Sign for it. Open it in my glass-walled office. It's from Halloway, Sterling and Roth. I know this firm. They are the divorce litigators for tech billionaires. They charged my friend's ex-husband into bankruptcy. My hands shake. Scanning the document. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Petitioner, Daniel Walker. Respondent, Laura Scott. He's filing first. The audacity. Turn the page to remedies requested. Dissolution of marriage. Division of community assets. 50-50 split of all accounts, investments, 401k. 50% equity interest in Lumia strategies or cash equivalent based on current valuation. Spousal support, alimony, pendente light, temporary and permanent. Attorney's fees and costs. 50% of my company. I laugh. A loud, sharp, hysterical laugh. My assistant looks in, terrified. Everything okay, boss? Get my lawyer on the phone, now. For legal reality check, call my corporate lawyer, Greg. Greg is great at contracts, bad at feelings. Greg, did you see this? He wants half my company. I started this company. Did you incorporate before or after the marriage date? After, but he had nothing to do with it. He was playing Elden Ring while I was coding the website. California is a community property state. Greg sighs. Anything created during the marriage is 50-50. Unless you have a prenup. No prenup. We were broke students when we married. Then the business is a marital asset. We can argue valuation, but he owns half the equity in the eyes of the court. What about the alimony? He's a grown man. He can work. How long have you been the sole earner? 8 years. And did you encourage him not to work? Flashback to 2019. Me coming home stressed. Dan talking about a graphic design gig. Just quit, babe. It's not worth the stress for $40K. I need you here managing the renovation. I might have mentioned he should focus on the house. Okay, Greg sounds tired. That's detrimental reliance. He sacrificed his career trajectory for the domestic sphere at your request. The court will view him as a dependent spouse. You're looking at significant exposure here. Fight it, I snarl. War of attrition. Bury him in paper. The discovery phase. This is hell. Dan's lawyers are forensic accountants with law degrees. They subpoena everything. My personal emails, my agency's QuickBooks, my Slack logs. They find the strategy dinners I expense that were actually just expensive drinking sessions with Jessica. They categorize them as dissipation of community assets. They request a vocational evaluation for Dan. I have to pay for it, $5,000. The expert concludes. Mr. Walker has been out of the workforce for nearly a decade. His skills are obsolete. He will require 2 to 4 years of retraining to enter the market at an entry-level capacity. Entry-level? He's 36. Meanwhile, my life is crumbling. I miss deadlines because I'm searching for tax returns from 2019. I show up to meetings looking disheveled. My biggest client fires us because I accidentally replied "you blood-sucking leech" to his email instead of forwarding it to my lawyer regarding Dan. Revenue drops 20%. The deposition. I have to sit in a conference room with Dan and his lawyer. Dan looks good. Better than good. He's tan. He's wearing a fitted suit. He looks rested. I look like the before picture in an antidepressant commercial. His lawyer, Ms. Roth, is a shark in a Chanel suit. Ms. Scott, isn't it true that Mr. Walker prepared all your meal? He cooked, yes. It's not hard. And he handled all laundry, cleaning, grocery shopping, car maintenance, and bill payments? I paid the bills. He managed the logistics of the bills. He ensured the lights stayed on so you could focus on brand narratives, correct? I guess. So, without his domestic labor, would you have been able to work 14 hours a day to build your company? Trap card activated. If I say yes, I lie. If I say no, I admit he's an investor in my success. He contributed, I grit out. Thank you. Moving on to your travel expenses. Mediation failure. We try to settle. I offer $250K lump sum. Ms. Roth smiles like she just spotted a wounded seal. The valuation of Lumia Strategies came back at $4.2 million. Dan's share is $2.1 million. Plus we calculated marital standard of living. You consistently spent $20K a month on lifestyle. Dan is entitled to maintain that standard. $20K a month? I scream. That's my money. It was our money, Dan says. Voice calm, deep. I supported you when we had nothing, Laura. I believed in you. Now you want to throw me out with a coupon book? I want you to be a man, I yell. Mediator calls a timeout. We go to trial. The trial. Family court, Dep 406. Judge is an older man, Judge Harrison. I assume he's traditional. He'll hate a mooching house husband. I stride in wearing my boardroom boss red suit. Dan is wearing a navy suit, looking humble, hands clasped. My lawyer attacks Dan's laziness. Your Honor, this man spent thousands of hours playing video games. He contributed nothing financially. Dan's lawyer calls witnesses. My own mother takes the stand. Mum, I whisper. She testifies. Laura works very hard, but she is difficult. Dan was a saint. He did everything. She doesn't even know how to grocery shop. Betrayal. Evidence is shown. Photos of the apartment when Dan lived there, pristine, versus photos from a private investigator taken last week. Pizza boxes, chaos. Ms. Roth argues, Mr. Walker was not lazy. He was the chief operating officer of the marriage. Then the financials. The forensic accountant breaks down my spending. The parties enjoyed first-class travel, 5-star hotels, Michelin dining. This is the established marital standard. My lawyer tries to argue girl boss feminism angle. Your Honor, should a modern woman be penalized for her success? Should she have to support an able-bodied man? The judgment. Judge Harrison clears his throat. He looks over his glasses at me. The court has heard ample testimony. In California, the law is gender neutral. The term provider is not assigned by gender, but by capacity. The petitioner, me, made a strategic decision to have the respondent, Dan, manage the household. You cannot benefit from his domestic labor for 8 years and then argue that labor had no value when the bill comes due. Regarding the length of marriage, 8 years, 9 months. Usually, support is half the length of marriage. I do the math. 4.5 years. I can do that. It sucks, but I can do that. However, Judge Harrison flips a page. Given the disparity in earning capacity, and the respondent's total removal from the workforce at the petitioner's behest, the court finds a long-term marriage precedent applies due to the totality of dependency. Spousal support is ordered in the amount of $11,500 per month, until the death of either party, remarriage of the respondent, or further order of the court. Indefinite, lifetime alimony. I gasp. Additionally, the court accepts the valuation of the business. Petitioner owes respondent an equalization payment of $2.1 million, payable over 5 years at a statutory interest rate of 10% per annum. Petitioner will pay respondent's legal fees in the amount of $112,000. Gavel bangs. I am shell-shocked. Walking out of the courthouse. The sun is blinding. My net worth just dropped by 50% instantly, and my cash flow is bleeding out. I see Dan. He's hugging his mum. He looks relieved. Not smug, just unburdened. I walk up to him. I can't help it. Are you happy? You ruined me. He looks at me with that same soft, pitying expression. I didn't ruin you. The law just evened the playing field. You're a parasite, I spit. No, he says calmly. I was your partner. You just forgot what that word meant. He turns to walk away. What are you going to do with all my money? I ask, voice trembling. I'm moving to Santa Cruz, he says. Going to learn how to surf, maybe volunteer, finally have time to beat that backlog of games. You're pathetic. Maybe, he smiles. But I'm retired at 36. Thanks to you. 1 year later, I had to sell the condo. Couldn't afford the mortgage plus the $11.5K monthly alimony plus the quarterly equity buyout payments. I live in a luxury studio in Oakland. It's loud. Lumia Strategies is struggling. I can't hire top talent because I'm draining capital to pay Dan. I drive a leased Prius now. Every month on the 1st, I have a recurring transfer set up. Minus $11,500, reference, Dan's rent/fund money. I hate scroll his Instagram. He's in Costa Rica now. Photo of him with a surfboard, looking tan, fit, and glowing. Next to him is a girl. She looks like a yoga instructor. No makeup, natural, smiling. Caption, Pura Vida. Grateful for the abundance. Abundance. My abundance. I'm sitting in my studio eating cold takeout pad thai. I have a Zoom call in 10 minutes with a client who wants to cut our budget. I look at the laundry pile in the corner. I haven't folded clothes in 6 months. My girl boss mug is sitting on the desk, stained with old coffee mold. I check Twitter. Some influencer is posting. Queens never settle for a man who brings less to the table. I type out a reply. It's a trap. Being the provider is a trap. Delete it before sending. Can't wreck the brand narrative. Put on my ring light. Put on my fake smile. Log into Zoom. Hi everyone. So excited to leverage our synergy today. My face when I broke the glass ceiling just to pay for my ex-husband's surf lessons. My face when the patriarchy played the long game and I fell for it. My face when equality feels exactly like oppression. When you're the one signing the check,